Alright, welcome to episode 1. Took me a minute then. First episode, can't remember what episode it is.
Episode 0.
Yeah, 0.5.
Yeah.
This is the N.O.Wcast, or N.O.Wcast, depending on what I can be bothered to call it from week to week. So this is going to be, just a general sort of podcast about obviously nerdy shit. Today you have myself, Josh, and we have my other guest, Matt. And I say guest, he'll probably be co-host with me, and occasionally we'll have other people on. Got a couple of guests already lined up actually over the next couple of weeks.
Nice.
I say guests, it makes them sound like they're much more important than they are. People have asked me on podcasts, I do love you, but let's be honest, you're not really guest as much dickhead I know. Alright, so, you choose. We've got a few topics to discuss this week. We've got board games, anime, and video games. What do you want to go through first?
Video games.
Video games. Okay, so myself and Matthew, we play together quite a lot on every game ever that we can.
Yep.
At the moment, the two games I thought we could discuss this week, because both have had very recent major updates, The Division and Warframe, with, I think, 1.03 and 18.3 respectively.
Yeah.
I think that was their big update numbers. What one do you want to chat about first? Division, as you're playing The Division, sure, why not? I'm not going to go through the patch notes because that'd be a bit ridiculous. Yeah. Everyone know, if you're interested in The Division, there's patch notes aplenty. If you play The Division, it's on the fucking login screen now.
Yes.
You can Google it. It's not a big deal. So the patch has introduced a couple of things. Gear sets, the equivocal raid, and also the biggest nerf to crafting I've ever seen in a game. Ever. So before, you had 3 tiers of crafting items. So basically you broke down weapons, clothes, whatever you had to hand. You could break it down and sort of amplify it into better stuff. So you could turn greens into blues and blues into yellows, and yellows is the best rarity, well, at the time, best rarity in the game. Now, I guess technically the best would be the gear set, which is kind of a greeny teal. Yeah, teal, aquamarine, some may say. 4th character? You starting your 4th character?
Yeah.
Alright, 4th character it is.
That's the one I'm going to take through for your 2nd character.
Fair enough. So before, basically, you put 5 greens into a blue, 5 blues made a yellow. So it was 25 to 1 in terms of greens directly to yellows?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Now, they decide, right, so basically, in my experience of MMOs, most MMOs have crafting as either the best gear or very, very comparable to drops. I mean, I think Warcraft has always done it like that, at least in my experience. Yeah. So, they decided, I mean, it's a good reasoning, but they decided that, because there's a breakdown chart, I don't know if you've seen that, and it shows you how people are getting the high-end gear, and it's like drops is something, I don't know the exact percent, so excuse me if it's incorrect, but it's something like 10% of all high-end is coming from drops, and it's like 70 or 80 is coming from crafting.
But then that's going to change because they've changed the drop rates.
I know they've changed so they decided that they wanted it to come more from drops. Understandable, I guess. Instead of crafting. I assume that's because crafting you could kind of cut out a lot of RNG and cut out more of the forced game time.
Yeah.
But so now instead of 25 to 1, it's now 150 to 1.
Yeah.
Because you now need 15 greens to make a blue, and then 10 blues to make a yellow.
Yeah.
So 150 to 1 by my count, or in that region. So they have massive, and they've also made stuff cost more yellow materials to make.
Yeah.
They have done several upsides. It's not just a huge nerf like now it's awful in every regard. They've there's one of the gold crafting items that was a bastard to get because it was again RNG on time lock chests was gold division tech or yellow division tech. Sorry, I use those kind of interchangeably.
Yeah.
Now there's so many more ways to get it. There's your dailies, there's supply drop. Don't need to go too much into it. There's so many more ways to get it. And a lot of the stuff that required Division Tech now doesn't, because a lot of the best stuff came from the DZ06 vendor in the church.
Yeah.
Now most of that's been moved to the Phoenix Credit guy in your base, and doesn't require that.
But it also cuts out the fact that every time you went to go and buy the higher stuff, you had to watch out that you didn't get massed on the way there.
I'm just going to go buy my Doom jacket or my Ranger jacket. Ugh, twatted. You're a fucking stain instead. That was interesting.
Although they still need to do something about the Rogan, because everyone's got high-end drops now, because they're guaranteed to drop so often.
That was the other thing, just to quickly put in, is the fact that to counterbalance this, now all named NPCs of 30 and above will definitely drop high-end gear.
Which is brilliant, apart from there is very little downside for being a rogue. And you'll get groups of 4 people that hang around. And the DZ as well, because it's minimum. It's like 165 gear score plus.
Yeah, 161 I think, isn't it? So it's even easier. You don't even need full high-end gear to hit that.
So if you've just hit that cap, and you've gone in there because you want to gear up, you've gone in there, and you've got people who DZ rank 99. Been playing it, absolutely obliterating it for ages.
You mean like G?
Yeah, and they will just, group of 4 of them will just torment you.
Yeah.
For no reason at all. And a lot of time, you haven't even got gear on you and they're just tormenting you. And there's no downside to it. And it really does... It means that if you are a solo player, or if it's just you and another friend...
Or if just you've got 3 mates, but they're not online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I've gone to have a shit. I'm at work. Fuck it. I don't want to play Division tonight.
Yeah.
Basically makes it impossible. And that's the thing, where you basically, if you see someone with a loot bag now, before it was like, do I want to risk going rogue for what's probably a load of blues and purples, maybe a high end. Now it's like, that's probably all high end.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Pretty much.
Or, well, let's be honest, if you're like us, we're in the 161 plus bracket, which I think quite a lot of people are, to be fair.
Yeah.
But if you're in that bracket, why are you picking up anything but high end?
Yeah.
So yes, it's full of high end gear. It's absolutely just rammed full of it.
Yeah.
Might be shit, but you could have that high end gear.
Have you noticed in the character creation there was no ginger?
I did. There's like Auburn, but that's it.
Ginger.
That's like the reddest. Gingerest you can go.
That is gingerest.
Yeah. But
I suppose it's in the daytime though, isn't it?
You see, the problem was when it first started out, the penalty for going rogue was horrifically over the top.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Like, you would lose entire levels, up to 50% of your cash, everything.
Yeah.
But now, it's really still quite minimal, in my experience.
Yeah.
There's not, and the thing is, where it's now, instead of it being like all level 30s are here, where it's 161 plus, you will just get mashed.
Yeah.
Like, this is a problem, there was a big thing in, like, World of Warcraft, until they started normalising it. If you did, like, World PvP, and you were in heroic gear, and you came up against someone who's in raid gear, you're the same level, but they were like a god to you. You couldn't touch him.
Yeah.
But now, it's like, for example, I've got, 178, I think? But I think G has got 198.
Yeah.
If I were to go up against G, I couldn't touch him, because his stats are just so much bigger than mine.
Yeah.
There's just number inflation, and it's a problem. Because, like, I'm a person, I hate PvP. Like, a lot of my friends know that. I hate the Dark Zone. I hate the idea. Oh, look, it's high-end PvE content, but you're forced to PvP.
Yeah.
Basically. And the problem, I hit 50, Matt can tell you, I was super fucking happy. I was like, no more Dark Zone for me!
Yeah.
Now it's like, I have to get to 75 and 90.
Although I did say that was going to happen.
I mean, I knew it would, but I didn't think it would happen with this patch. I didn't think it would be 75 and 90 as well.
Yeah.
I thought they'd introduce more stuff at 50. All they did was lower the curve, so it's like, 40 and 25 you can buy stuff, which needed to happen.
Yeah.
But just put more stuff at 50, don't we? Or 60, not 90.
Yes. Well, the problem is as well, is because you lose levels.
Yeah, oh god.
I mean, I would have been probably 99 by now if I hadn't had so much issues with...
I don't mind losing experience. I do mind deranking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's like 50,000 experience to get to the next level, and I've got 45,000. I die. I go down to 1 experience, but I can't drop a level. That would be fine.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can drop levels is just a ball ache.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a ball ache. But, you know, what are you going to do, I guess? Keep playing and suck it.
Well, they'll probably change it eventually.
Well, they keep changing things. Super stuff.
I mean, in a way, it's nice that they are spending so much time.
Yeah, it's nice that they're supporting their game. Unlike Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
But there you go. I guess move on to Warframe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Warframe's latest patch dropped what Sands of Inneros. Again, if you want to look at the patch notes, you can go for it, that's fine. Off the top of my head, the main things it did was introducing, because obviously, so we're talking from a PlayStation 4 perspective, because we play on a console as opposed to the PC, just to clarify that. So it dropped, and it gave us obviously Inneros, or Inaros, however you wish to pronounce it, the Egyptian sand-based Warframe. Big fan of him. I think he's got a lot of late game potential, which is really cool. It dropped the really quite shit infested weapons. The Mutilus, Cernos, Dual Toxicist, and the Legion. I don't really know how you pronounce that. I assume it's supposed to be Legion, and I'm just an idiot. That could be a thing. And it dropped a few other things. It dropped the Static Core, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
And it also dropped the... Oh, fuck. There's another weapon it dropped, I think. Fuck knows. Maybe not. But either way, good times. And what else did it drop into the game here? Updated us to Season 4 rewards for sorties.
Yep.
Changed how the sortie rewards work. So you're not just going to get infinite Nether chassis.
And you also get the new ship, which looks really nice.
The new ship that we don't know what it does, do we, personally?
Oh, I did look it up, but I can't remember.
I mean, not that anyone uses air support charges.
Oh, God, they're awfully crap.
Yeah. They cost a relatively large amount to make, and 10-minute cooldown.
Yeah.
And half the time I found don't fucking work. That's the problem. They don't really work.
I didn't know there was one with long hair.
Yeah, that's your character now looks near enough identical to my second character.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you get the shades as well?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Only difference is I've got grey hair and a different neck tattoo. Yeah, so Inneros is an amazing late game frame. He's an amazing frame altogether.
Yeah.
I personally dropped my power strength to 40% and my range is at 235%.
Okay.
And he's really good. And fuck you, planks of wood. Or box. I don't even know what you're shooting at this point. Yeah, so I think that's really cool. We've got, Cat Bros coming soon.
Yeah.
So that's good. Anything else you want to say about either of those at the minute?
Well, I'm just hoping they sort out the Tamagotchi style Cat Bros.
In what way?
Well,
you mean feeding them and that?
I mean, apparently they're going to have the option that they can stay as a kitten.
Yeah.
Which is it's alright, it's cool.
That's something I would like. You can rush every stage of a Kubro except the maturity thing.
Yeah.
Which still requires 2 server resets.
Yeah. It's a bit of a pain in the arse.
So you can either have it in 24 hours if you time it like I do, or like 48 hours if you don't.
I mean, what they should really, it would be quite a nice thing to do, is to have your Kubro or Cat Bro with you with your Sentinel.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because, there's only one real Sentinel that anyone ever really uses.
Well, you say that. There's only one real Sentinel that we only ever use.
I don't think I could justify ever use it. The only one I don't have is Jin.
Yeah, I've built that now.
I don't want to sacrifice the mutagen masses.
But, yeah, I know that feeling.
And the 2 former as well.
See, the problem is the fact that Sentinels, I think, are only good for their utility, and Kubros are only really good for their damage.
Yeah.
They can pin like a motherfucker if you get the right breed.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Or I could just stick a vacuum on top of my Kubra.
Yeah, if they had like a piece of armour or something that did that, then that's cool.
See, the problem is I know it sounds weird. It's like, gosh, I have to pick stuff up like a peasant, like in every other game. The problem is, though, Warframe is such a fast-paced game. It's so easy to miss shit. And some of the shit you miss is so important.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I missed that prime flow that for some reason is dropping. Like, I know it doesn't drop, but you know what I mean? That's an example of how fucked would you be if you missed that.
Look, I don't have to use the laptop.
You don't have to queue up for the laptop anymore. Beautiful. Yeah, fair enough. Shall we jump away from video games for a while?
Yeah, you can.
You want to chat a little bit about Zombie before we go?
I think we should save that until.
Alright, cool.
You can download it and then.
I've downloaded it, I haven't played it.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll play it from the beginning and record the footage or something like that.
Yeah, we'll do that for next week, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get some in.
You should play it with all the lights off in the middle of the night.
Fuck off.
On your own.
Fuck off. I'd live stream it and then put it on the podcast.
Be like when you did Aliens Isolation.
Fuck off.
When you were online with us and you were still shitting yourself.
Of course I'm shitting myself. I'm easy to scare. That game was scary. Fuck off and eat a dick. Alright, so board games, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really played much for...
Yeah, you haven't played much with us, but I'm a massive board game collector. Two, surprisingly, zombie board games have been played recently.
Okay.
We played Dead of Winter.
Yeah.
Which, for those who don't know, is it's a board game. It's a zombie survival board game. It's very similar to the Battlestar Galactica board game, insofar as you're a community of people, and there are going to be some traitors who will try and fuck you, and there are so many lose conditions it's unreal. But basically, you're trying to survive. Like in that, you're in a school, I believe, and you have to balance like all the crises coming in, getting enough supplies to feed your community, making sure zombies don't overrun you, and cleaning out the trash. That's a mechanic that makes people sad if you don't clean out the rubbish. Yeah, you lose morale if you don't clean out the trash. Very strong board game. Okay. Very strong board game. Big fan of it. Only thing I'd say is I think it's got slightly too many lose conditions. It makes it a little... It's part of the reason I never bought the XCOM board game. Too stressful, not enough reward.
Yeah.
But that's me. The bigger one there is Black Plague, though.
Okay.
Now, you probably don't know what I mean when I say Black Plague, but you'd probably know more if I said Zombicide.
Yeah.
So now, Zombicide, we have played since day dot. Like, I got that in the first Kickstarter when it came out, and I've bought every copy as soon as it's released, as soon as I can get my hands on it since. We've recently got our hands on Black Plague. Amazing.
Yeah?
Yes, it adds a load of little... Basically, it tweaks a load of little things in the game. And they don't seem like much, but they're incredible. Like, for example, before... Playing a ranged character would always be a bit of a handicap unless you had sniper or point blank as a skill, which, just to let anyone who doesn't know, basically when you shoot in Zombicide, there's a priority order of people you hit, so that, like, it's basically so that, you know, certain zombies, like standard ones, will protect the more exotic and special zombies. But the target order's still there, but before, at the top of every target order, no matter what, was other players.
Yeah.
So if you shot into another square that had other players in it, you'd have to hit the other player before you could hit any zombies. That isn't the case anymore. That doesn't exist. You only hit other players if you roll a miss and you're trying to hit someone.
It's much better.
It's much better. You can still kill your teammates, but they can survive. It's not just automatic death sentence if you get bogged in a combat. There's armours that have varying roles that let you just ignore zombie bites. There's a new zombie type, the Necromancer, which actually adds spawn points, but when he dies you can take away spawn points.
Okay.
It's a really cool mix of stuff. There's a new magic system. The thing I love the most is there's little plastic trays now to hold your character sheets and all your items. You take 3 hits before you die rather than the second hit killing you, and you have more hand space. So, you don't get the fucking wounded cards anymore that used to take up hand space. So yeah, it's a big thing. I can, if people want, I can do a bit more of an in-depth analysis of it. But I just sort of wanted to bring it up and say, like, it's such a great upgrade. Yeah. It's so good, and the medieval film was really refreshing. After you could know you got magic and shit, and yeah, it's really refreshing to sort of do, if you will.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. So, next up, I want to talk about. There's two things I want to talk about. One is The Walking Dead. Now I know you've been looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So, I had considered making a different video about this, but I could not be bothered because I just thought I'd get too irate. Basically, the big gripe I have, spoilers ahead, obviously, just put that out there, spoilers for everything in life ahead. The problem I had was with the recent Season 6 finale, which is based on one of my favourite issues of the comic. I think it's a very commonly used favourite issue. Basically, it's the issue where Negan, I always forget how to pronounce his fucking name. That geezer with the bat in the comics kills Lucille. The bat is called Lucille. Kills Glenn. He kills Glenn. He mashes the fuck out of his skull. It's sad. He's dead as fuck. Now, what we got in TV form was a watered down version of what people are calling suspenseful. It was not suspenseful. They drove around for 45 fucking minutes. The pregnant bitch dropped into like a fever coma and basically started dying immediately. Then we get a very solid but a little bit too likeable performance of Negan. I'm just going to call him Negan, it's easier. I don't care if I'm wrong. It's a very solid performance, but he's too likeable. The character is a complete cunt, but we like that guy, you know?
Yeah.
And then, the best part is, you know how people complained about The Sopranos ending, Fade to Black? This was Fade to Blood. He's picking who he's going to batter the skull in, and...
Although the difference with the Sopranos one is, that was it.
Yeah.
There was no more.
Yeah,
this is another season, so...
Yeah, but why? What's the point of this cliffhanger? So, you know what I mean? Like, basically, he picks who he's going to brutalise. We don't know, because we're looking for their point of view. Hits it, goes all red, end of episode. That's it. That's done. Now, I'm kind of thinking it might be Abraham, because he's still alive. At this point in the comics, he's dead. Because he gets shot through the eye of an arrow while they're chatting away. That happened to the fat doctor bitch a few episodes ago. Now, fat doctor bitch, I can't remember her name because I fucking despise her character. Well, right, so she was like, you know, I'm not a very good doctor because I think she was either a nurse or someone who had like read a medical textbook and so was thrust into being the doctor. I get it. Then she was like, I'm a coward. Then that developed. That's fine. That's absolutely fine being a cowardly character. You know what I mean? Not everyone is going to be the Deus Ex Machina hero of bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Then she randomly decides one episode that she's like, I'm going to be brave! Heads out and dies. So now they've lost their only doctor because she's a fucking cunt. Really? That's all I can say. That pissed me off more than the ending, I think, but still. Yeah, let's move away from that. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about was Zootropolis. Saw that at the weekend. Disney's new animated film. Fucking hilarious. Love it. Great watch. I was crying. It was so good. Now, over at Game Theories and Film Theories, Matt Pat has done a video on it saying how he believed that essentially the predators, because it's basically the idea behind it is that all the animals have evolved and they all live in like various cities and that together, predators and prey, blah blah, it doesn't matter. Now, he thinks, or I should say his theory video stated that he believes that the predators are supposed to represent repressed black people. Now, I can understand that because they're segregated, they're the minority of the population, and he discusses the fact that, because in the film, they basically get infected with a thing that makes them hyper-violent, and then people start using that as, like, look at them, they're the problem, and he relates that back to cocaine.
Okay.
Which I can see, I do see it. But I disagreed, because my first thought when I came out of the cinema was that the bunnies, like the main character is a bunny and her big bunny family, my thought was that they represented repressed black people.
Okay.
Right, so the reason I thought this is they're all from like one family. Keep in mind, obviously, it's sort of stereotyping and stuff like that, but they're all from one family out in the sort of boonies.
Yeah.
Right, that's sort of the main sort of start there. And like, first thing that sort of made me think about it was when she first goes to the city, one of the other cops calls her cute, and her reply is, "Oh, see, it's fine for other bunnies to call each other cute, but it's not okay for other people to call us cute." Now, I'm just putting that as a thing, right? The other reason I think that is she is constantly, by the way, told to go back to where she lives, and basically she's told quite consistently to go back to the fields to be a farmer and things like that.
Right.
So I'm just saying that I think that's kind of, again, we're going with the racial thing, you know?
This is Disney.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have a flashback at one point to when she's a kid, and basically she is bullied and harassed by the uneducated Southern hick character, who later then comes to a realisation that he was being a bigot and apologises to her as time progresses.
It's nice of him.
Yeah. Right, so that's kind of the reasons why I think that they're supposed to, like... Oh, and she even says at one point, because she's the first bunny police officer, and they're all making fun of her, and she says, "I'm not just a token bunny." Right? So, just putting that there. And another reason that I disagree with Matt Pat is, when you look at the police, the majority of the police force are the predators.
Well, I mean, it could be set in Africa. Then the white people would be the minority, and most of the farmers were white in South Africa before the uprisings and where they murdered them all.
As I say, this is just my thoughts on it.
Because one of my friends from school, his whole family had to escape from South Africa when there was the uprisings.
Yeah.
Just because any white-speaking South African was just basically getting murdered, and his dad was in the army, and he was quite high up in the army. So anyone like that, they were massacring, and he got one of his sort of informant-type friend people said, "You need to leave today because tonight people are coming to kill you and your family."
Yeah.
And
that went dark.
Yeah. So it's like, when everyone goes on about all this shit, it's like, well, you know, it's not rosy for everyone. Everyone has their stories. And the other thing is, when everyone talks about minorities and stuff like that, it's where? Because it does depend, where you are. If you're in China, then you can't call a Chinese person a minority there.
True. But as I say, this was just my sort of thoughts behind it.
Yeah.
It was the first thing I thought when I came out. But, you know, that's just me. What? They're not really woodland marine.
No, look at her leg.
Oh, it's like cocked up on that bike.
Yeah, I'm marking my territory.
Pissing on a bike. Yeah. Well, that's just that.
Well, I'd have to see it, really.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. As I say, this is just my sort of thoughts behind it. Other thing I was going to say about anime, I've recently watched One Punch Man. Finally caught up.
Nice.
Have you watched it?
No.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet? I won't spoil anything, but that was great. I guess, is there anything else you want to talk about before we sort of close off?
Well, about One Punch Man, where the creator said that he was... I'm going to make a bald hero because there isn't any bald heroes. And then you're like, well, Krillin, Ikaku.
Yeah.
It's just two, like, you can just jump straight out there. And it's like... it's nice to see that the follically challenged are getting a bit of a heads up that everyone can't have fucking Goku-style wavy locks.
Your hair suffers, Matthew.
I've got wigs.
Yeah, like the aerial wig that Tony put on you.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get Tony on next week.
Maybe
we'll get Alex on next week.
Maybe.
Maybe George.
That'll never happen. George doesn't come out.
Right, so, is there anything else you want to talk about before we go?
George is like
So we're
Tom
talking about
Cruise.
George. He's Tom Cruise.
He's basically Tom Cruise. He'll never come out.
Oh, that's good. Right,
Don't sue me, George.
So, before we end up, we're going to watch some anime now. Obviously, because we're not live, no one can vote on this. We have got a choice of Shimoneta, or, should I try and pronounce it? Tui Ganin ga Sonza Shinai Takutsa na Sekai.
Type it into Google
I
Translate.
fucking horribly mauled that. But basically, it's the thing where the world where dirty jokes don't exist, or we have 7 deadly sins, which I think is possibly one of my favourite animes I've ever seen. So, Matthew, you pick what we're going to watch right now.
Oh, you pick You Got Me in Your Hands, whichever one's more hentai-ish.
Well, I haven't watched the dirty joke one. This one's got a lot of fan service. Deadly Sins has.
We'll go with one you haven't watched them, because...
What? Well, this one's in English. This one's subbed. What
language is it in?
Japanese.
That's fine. I can speak Japanese.
You can speak Japanese.
I can.
I don't believe
I
you.
can say words.
You can. Fuck it. Let's watch 7 Deadly Sins. All right, guys. Well, this has been Josh and Matt for the N.O.Wcast. And we're going to go watch 7 Deadly Sins.
Sweet.
And we will see you next week, I believe.
Yeah.
Alright, guys. Well, drop us a like and a bit of a subscribe if you enjoyed yourself. Send us a message, any feedback, and might set up a Patreon link. I'll set up a Patreon link and fund myself £1 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we might set up a Patreon, but we're going to set up a Facebook and a Twitter account, and we will link them down below. Yeah, well, it's been lovely, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great evening.
See you later.